The 5 pillars of Islam, you got to know them. Let's get started. Okay, what is Islam? A Muslim is a person. Islam is a religion. A Muslim is a person. You can't be an Islam. So a Muslim is a person, and Islam is a religion that is very, very monotheistic. Okay, and the name of God is Allah in Islam. Some people think Allah is a different God. It's just their word for God. That's what it means. And the word Islam literally means submission, submitting to the will of Allah or submitting to the will of God. The idea is Muhammad is God's final prophet. He is not equivalent to what Jesus is in Christianity. That's a misconception as well. There is a judgment day, very similar. Their holy book is called the Quran. You'll find stories that are familiar, such as Adam and Eve. You'll hear some stuff about Jesus, not the same, but similar. There's really no official clergy, meaning there's no official people that have, they have very structured hierarchy. I guess the way you can think about it, along the lines of deacon, priest, bishop, all the way up to pope. They don't have something like that or a form of sacraments. It's actually quite a simple religion, which is part of its attractiveness in areas where it's spread. Now, the 5 pillars, you need to know them. Shahada, Hajj, Zakat, Salat, and Sawm. These can be spelled differently. You might see them spelled differently from time to time. And I'll talk about, in more detail, each of them. The Shahada is easy. You basically go, and it's a short statement of faith. It says there's no God but God, and Muhammad is his messenger, or Muhammad is prophet. Meaning, this is the monotheistic part, right? There's only one God, and then the final prophet is Muhammad. There's 2 parts to the Shahada, and that's basically it. You've said this, you say it a few times, you're a Muslim. Salat's prayer, and people are pretty familiar with this. In the traditional faith, you are going to go, and actually 5 times a day, you are going to pray towards the city of Mecca. That's why I have the Mecca there. You'll ritually purify yourself before you pray. You'll wash yourself down. Usually when you go to a mosque, there is a fountain for you to wash yourself. And the times are typically dawn, noon, mid-afternoon, sunset, and early evening. When you go to a city where the majority of the population is Muslim, you may hear the call to prayer from the minarets, which is very, very, it's an interesting cultural experience if you've never experienced it. You'll basically, we'll talk about this when we get to the architecture, but traditionally somebody would go on top of the minaret and call people to go and pray these 5 times a day. Now, basically, sometimes people don't understand the Arabic of what somebody's saying. They're kind of doing a sing-song, and it sounds very, very foreign. And basically, it's saying the Shahada. It says, God is most great, God is most great. I testify there's no God except for God. Muhammad's the messenger. Come to prayer. Come to success. There's no God. So you can take a read there. It's pretty simple. Here's a picture of some guys at the fountain going and doing the ritual bathing on the feet before they would go do their prayer of the day. Zakat is basically going and giving to the less fortunate. So what's called almsgiving or charitable giving. It's traditionally not based on income, but wealth. So the difference is income is what you get every year. Wealth is what you have, total. It doesn't matter from year to year. So you have to go and, give because of the blessings that God has given you. Sawm is during the holy month of Ramadan, which is the 9th month of the lunar calendar. It's the most holy month in Islam. People go and they fast. Obviously, there's exemptions. If you're a child, you're sick, you're elderly, pregnant, you're not going to make you do that. And the idea is while the sun is up, you are supposed to go and abstain from food and drink if humanly possible. It's a form of fasting, going and getting closer to God during this month. You're supposed to also stay away from the things that you're not supposed to do. You're never supposed to do it, but especially during Ramadan, lying, gossip, quarreling. It's very, very similar if you're a Christian and you're familiar with the period of Lent. I mean, it's a very, very similar concept. The Hajj is, if you can afford it, if it's physically possible, you should try once in your lifetime to make it to the holy city of Mecca. And when you get to Mecca, you're going to wear simple white garments because it's supposed to kind of make it, everybody's the same, there's equality. And you are going to go walk around the Kaaba, which is that large structure right there. Here is actually the Grand Mosque. These are all people. believe it or not, that are walking around the Kaaba. It looks dwarfed right there. So here's the Kaaba. The Kaaba is there's actually a door right here, and you would need a staircase to get to it. It's actually off the ground. And the Kaaba is a shrine. I'll talk a bit about it here on the next slide. Here are the dimensions in case you care, how big is it. You can pause. So the Kaaba basically, before Muhammad, it had been used for polytheistic worship in the city. And according to the belief, the stone right here was initially white. It's basically, some people think it's a lunar stone. It's kind of held by this metallic thing because it's cracked. And it's on the side of the Kaaba. People want to touch it, show respect. And supposedly it was the sin of Adam that went and had the stone go and turn from white to black. Now, it supposedly got lost in the flood. Nobody knew what happened to it. And then Abraham found the stone, built the Kaaba himself, and you walk around when you go do your journey, you go and you walk around it 7 different times around the Kaaba. So next time you go on your Hajj, you're going to walk around here 7 times, and you now know the significance of the black stone.